How is it that stores like this online are selling Monopoly posters like this? Or even t-shirts that are obviously representing Monopoly? Or even canvases like this that have pictures of Michael Jordan? We also have a store like this that is selling merchandise for sports fans and creating products that resemble things that are professional sports teams, such as NHL teams or NFL teams and things like that. In my experience, lots of people that are jumping into POD are wondering what types of designs they can sell. Meaning which types of designs are going to be legal for them to sell, and then which types of designs are going to send them directly to jail. And that is what we're going to be discussing in this video today. If you're new here, hey Joe, it's Folks here. Make sure to check out some of my other videos here on the channel where I detail some of the strategies that I've used in my own print-on-demand businesses. And if you want to go through my course, there's a link down in the description. Inside, you'll find over 30 step-by-step videos showing you the process to actually build out your store. The best part is, it is completely free. So let's come back to this store here. It is called iconic.com. You guys can go check them out if you want. And this is the store that has some Monopoly posters like this. Clearly, they are making these represent Monopoly. You can tell that because on these posters, it actually says Monopoly. The logo for the Monopoly game is there. They also have that on some of their apparel. They're also using a picture that is obviously Michael Jordan. If you scroll through this store, they obviously have a lot of things on here that some people would view as illegal to sell. Now, one thing you don't know about this store that I haven't got to yet is they actually have licenses for all this stuff. If you read on their store, you know, they talk about being officially licensed for a lot of their items. They've got collaborations with Gary Vaynerchuk as well as a few other famous people as well. So obviously this brand is established and they have permission to actually sell these items. But what about a store like this that is selling things that say Boston Hockey or Beware of Boston on a t-shirt or other products here that clearly resemble different sports teams, right? I live in Massachusetts, so for me, I totally recognize all of this stuff as relating to a sports team. You also see here on their site, they have an intellectual property notice, basically talking about how they are using their parody law and their First Amendment right to create these items, because ultimately, they're not using actual team logos. They're not using actual team names or anything like that. They've simply created a black and gold t-shirt design that says Boston Hockey, right? So obviously when you see this, you assume it's Boston Bruins, but they're not using the name Bruins and they're not using the team logo. So ultimately, how are they getting away with this? Now, obviously, as I'm making this video, I'm trying to give my opinion, and my opinion is not one that you should take seriously. What I mean by that is, I am not a lawyer. I am not educated in trademark law. I'm just a random guy on the internet who sells print-on-demand items, and I'm trying to give you some of my thoughts and things like that in this video today. So don't take anything I'm saying as actual legal advice. Ultimately, I'm trying to make a fun video for you to see what some other people are doing and why they're doing it and why they may actually be doing so legally. What I think would be beneficial here for us first is to define what we're actually talking about. When it comes to what a trademark is, we really have two different things. We have trademarks and we have copyrights, right? First, a trademark is a symbol, a word, or words that are legally registered or established as representing a company. So the word Monopoly, or the logo for Monopoly, or maybe even the Nike logo or something like that would be examples of trademarks. Essentially, a trademark is something that a company actually takes action to achieve. Basically, you go to the government and you file a trademark, and that is something that you legally get to protect something that represents your business, such as a brand name, a slogan, or even a logo. Now, a copyright is a little bit different because a copyright is a type of intellectual property that creates or protects original works of authorship as soon as the author fixes the work in a tangible form of expression. So a copyright is a little bit different than a trademark, mostly because a copyright is something that you get naturally when you create something. So if you write a song, you're not actually trademarking that song, but because you created the song, you have a trademark protection of it. Or if you wrote a book, you have a copyright protection of that book and everything inside of it, all of the words, the characters, and things like that. Now, what I want to do here in this video today is show you a bunch of examples of print-on-demand products that I have come across in the past. Some of these are going to be blatantly in violation of trademarks and copyrights, and then some of them may actually be legal, meaning the store owner did something that doesn't actually cross the line. And what we're going to do is we're going to break each of them down. I'm going to give you my opinion on them, and then down in the comments, you guys can let me know if you agree with me or not. And like I said before, I am not a lawyer. Don't take anything that I'm saying to be actual truth or anything like that. I'm just giving my opinion on some designs that I've seen in the past. Now, here's our first one. Now, this is one that popped up for me as an ad on Instagram. Obviously, this is a product that someone is advertising for Mother's Day. What I sort of want to do here is talk about whether or not they have violated a trademark or a copyright. Again, in my opinion, not in an actual legal matter. Please don't take my advice. I am just a random guy on the internet making videos and giving you some of my thoughts and opinions. Now, when people typically see stuff like this here, a lot of times they ask themselves, how are people actually getting away with this? Why would Instagram let them post this? And one thing, again, that I would really make you think about is when it comes to copyrights and trademarks, there are so many intricacies here. And there's a good chance that Instagram and Facebook and other platforms don't have the time to police everybody who is selling products on their platform, and also to verify whether or not that person actually has the rights to sell those items. Take the iconic store that I showed you earlier, for example. They actually have the rights to sell some of the Monopoly items that they have on their store. If you created a store and started selling some of those items, then you wouldn't. And how would Facebook and Instagram have the time to figure out whether or not you did or not? They just simply don't. So that's how people are getting away with this. They're basically getting away with it until they get caught. But back to this. This is obviously a mug that is depicting various superheroes. Now, where this is something that I think is a little bit too much is the actual likeness of the superheroes, right? They've basically, in terms of the Wonder Woman costume, they've basically used the exact same costume that she actually wears inside of the movie. And there's a good chance that the owners of the Wonder Woman franchise could argue in court that this is clearly something that they created and the brand that is selling this product is ripping it off. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Here's our next one. It is another Mother's Day item, and it says, "Happy Mother's Day. I still love you even though you kept my acceptance letter hidden from me for all these years." Now, at first glance, there's nothing here besides some red background and some yellow text. But when you look closer, you begin to notice that this resembles the Harry Potter font, and then the text on the bottom that talks about an acceptance letter obviously refers to an acceptance letter to the Hogwarts school in the movie. Now, the reason why this is a genius design, in my opinion, is because it is subliminally telling you what it relates to. There's nothing here that would pertain to a logo or a character name from the movie or even a quote from the movie or anything like that. Simply put, what they've done here is they've chosen some colors that make you think about Harry Potter. They've also chosen a font that has a lightning bolt in it, which is also something that you see a lot in Harry Potter. And then they have reference to the Hogwarts acceptance letter inside of their text. To me, I think this design here is a perfect example of how you can sell an item that represents something that might be copywritten or trademarked without actually crossing that line. But again, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Do you agree, or is this too close for comfort? What about this item here? This is a t-shirt that I saw pop up on Instagram, and clearly this is something that would be depicting Star Wars. You can see that they've used a font that is very similar to the Star Wars franchise. It also says Bar Wars instead of Star Wars, and ultimately they've created a design for people that are also interested in Star Wars and also in weightlifting. And this one here, I kind of view the same way that I viewed that Harry Potter message card with the necklace, where they are just close enough to get you to know what it is they are referencing, but also they are just far enough away where I don't think the Star Wars franchise would actually come after them, because they're not using anything from Star Wars. They've simply chosen some colors and some font choices that look similar to some of the things that Star Wars does, but they're not using any logos, they're not using any names or any trademarked items, and ultimately I don't think that this crosses the line. What about this option here? What we have is a canvas with a couple of dogs on it wearing some jerseys that look awfully similar to the jerseys that that people on the Buffalo Bills NFL team actually wear. Now, for me, this is again another example of how you can create a design that represents something that is clearly going to be trademarked if you actually used the name of the team or the logo or something like that, but ultimately is just far enough away. All they've done is created a jersey that has a couple of colors on it that look similar to the colors that the professional team actually uses. On the helmets, instead of a Buffalo Bill, they have the outline of a dog. So again, in my opinion, this is a design that is close, but not close enough to actually be considered something that would violate trademark. What about something like this here? Again, this is a Mother's Day Super Mario themed hoodie, and honestly, this one again, I think is a little bit close. I would be concerned about the actual pictures of the mushroom children on there. I'm not sure if those are the actual images from Super Mario or not. They've also wrote Super Mamio, not Super Mario. So I'm not sure if this one is too close or not. I'm not sure if there's actually something here that could be considered an actual trademark violation, meaning there's no logos being used. I think potentially the likeness of some of this could be classified as illegal because of the mushroom children on the bottom as well as the style of the logo. But you guys can let me know down in the comments below. What do you think about this one? Is this one too close for comfort? I am a little bit unsure, to be honest. This one here is clearly a violation. You cannot use Mickey Mouse, you cannot use the Dallas Cowboys name or the logo. This one is an obvious violation of trademark in multiple ways. They've taken the Cowboys logo, which is going to be a registered trademark, and they've also got a picture of Mickey Mouse there. So this is clearly an illegal design. How about this one here? This is a canvas that looks like a Super Nintendo controller. Now, on here, you'll see that instead of writing the word Nintendo in the red text, they wrote the 90s instead. So basically what they've done here is they've created a canvas that looks like a controller. And in my opinion, this is a genius way to sell to people who like video games because you're not using a logo, a brand name, or a character name, or pictures of anything. You're simply just creating something that looks like a physical item, which in my opinion is something that is legal. I think that this canvas here would not be in violation of trademark, and ultimately I think that they're doing a great job at getting close, but not too close. Here's another one. This is a cup, a tumbler, where basically they're selling to Harry Potter fans because of the way that you can read the different things on the cup. They've wrote about griffins and ravens. They've used colors that really relate to some of the things in the movies, but ultimately they don't use any names from the movies or any characters or any logos or even, the word Harry Potter or anything. Ultimately, they've created a cup here that unless you're, saying that the little snitch icon on there is something that could be protected, they have gotten themselves very close. Not too close, in my opinion. I think this is a great example, again, of how you can sell items that sort of look or resemble something that people will recognize, but also do it in a way that you are not infringing on trademark. But again, let me know down in the comments below. And right here is our last one. This is a blanket for children that allows you to put their face on what looks like a superhero's body. And just like when I showed you the mug from the beginning with the different superheroes on it, I think this one here gets a little bit too close because the characters that they are drawing look just like the actual characters. And in my opinion, I think it's just a little bit too close. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Of all of these items here, ultimately what I wanted to do with this video was talk about what a copyright is, what a trademark is, and then talk about why some stores seem to be getting away with this stuff. Because ultimately, like I said before, Facebook and Instagram are not the police for this, and ultimately anybody who's seeing that is selling a blatantly trademarked item is simply just getting away with it because they have not yet been caught. I also wanted to show you a bunch of examples of things that I've seen in the past and kind of talk about some of my thoughts on them. Let me know down in the comments below if you agree with me on some of the things that I said, or if you disagree with me on some of the things that I said. I'm curious to see how you view some of these designs that I showed you today. Keep in mind, I am not a lawyer, though. I don't really know much about the actual legalities of this. I'm ultimately just trying to show you some things and share some of my thoughts, so don't take any of this as legal advice. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.